A hidden chapter of history unfolds in the landscape of West Sumatra, a tale of conflict, courage, and cultural transformation. Have you ever wondered about the mystery encircling the Padri War, a war between the inhabitants of Sumatra that shaped the destiny of a rich state and its citizens? How did this titanic battle of traditions change the lives of those caught in its wake? And how did the Dutch get involved? If you are unaware of the tale of the Padri War, brace up. This video will take you through the pages of history from 1803 to 1837 to a saga of customs, cultures, and conflicts. In 1692, the Padris, a group of Islam believers, resided in Manangkabau highlands, a province of western Sumatra. Sumatra is a beautiful island with meadows and mountains in western Indonesia. It is the largest island of Indonesia and the sixth biggest island globally. In 1803, Padris were driven by a profound devotion to their Islamic faith. They aimed to breathe new life into the Minangkabau's people's traditional practices and replace the mystical aspects with an orthodox interpretation. Minangkabau was one of the major ethnic groups in Indonesia and was known for following customary law called Adat. Adat was a universally liberal and flexible law, unlike the Sharia. The Sharia is a more rigorous and strict Islamic law, which is favoured by the Padris. The Padris desired to bring the Minangkabau people closer to the court of Islam and build a path of righteousness and spiritual purity. The Padris, with their charismatic leadership, began to gain influence, spreading their message of religious renewal throughout the town. As the Padris gained strength, their influence grew beyond the Minangkabau highlands. The traditional society cherished their generationally passed down practices and refused to follow the change. They felt that the ideals of Padri would dull the colourful picture of their rich traditions. The conflict between the old and new echoed across the country. The traditional Minangkabau community and the other Islamic scholars in Sumatra opposed the Padri ideology. These religious elites set up a political battle of traditions by persuading the inhabitants of Sumatra to protect their centuries-old culture. The war blew up. It involved not only the Padris and the Minangkabau people, but also the colonial forces of the Dutch East India Company. The conflict raged and allowed an outsider to creep in. The holy terrain of Sumatra was transformed into a theatre of wars when power, politics, and religions clashed. The once harmonious coexistence between the traditional Minangkabau society and the Padris was now strained. The Padri War was rooted in an Islamic tradition called Adat. The Padris wished to destroy Adat and introduce a stricter form of Islam to the region. The Minangkabau people requested help from the Dutch, who intervened in 1821 and supported the nobility in defeating the Padri group. The Dutch East India Company, or VOC, had already established its footprint in Indonesia. The Dutch wanted to keep their hold over West Sumatra and saw the Minangkabau people as potential allies known for their business skills. The Dutch began supplying the Minangkabau people with military assistance, weapons, and training. They also dispatched troops and made an important show in the region. The Minangkabau army gained an edge over the Padris and defeated them in the initial phase of the war. However, as time passed, the Dutch people played their pawns by shifting their support away from the Minangkabau people. They aimed to weaken both the Padris and the Minangkabau forces to gain control over the entire land. The war finally came to a close in 1837. The Dutch people successfully imposed their dominance and dimmed Sumatra's wealth. The Padri War broke out in bloodshed and conflict, leaving a sad lesson for generations. As the flames of conflict cooled down, a bitter realization hit Sumatra. Families were split apart, lives were lost, and battles left the countryside scared. The Padri War teaches that history can never be black and white. It is a patchwork of perspective, causes, and consequences. The war caused social and political disruption in Sumatra. The instability also affected the economy, trade, and commerce. Though Padri lost the battle, they still left a lasting impact on external forces, including the Dutch colonial rule. The legacy of this war continued and shaped Sumatra's religious history to a great extent. The people of Sumatra did realise how their differences allowed an external enemy to find a firm foothold in their land. Memories of this unfaithful war still remind Sumatran people to develop religious tolerance to avoid devastating consequences. The infamous Padri War must have reminded you of similar religious intolerances. Do share with us what you think about religious wars and which recent violence has left you concerned for world peace. Also, do not forget to subscribe to our channel for more interesting videos like this.